Okay, we are live.
Hey there, Kim Baker here with the Gallatin Area Chamber of Commerce. We are live again on another Giving Tuesday, or a Tuesday leading up to the Giving Tuesday. We're really excited to be back again this week with some other fabulous nonprofits that serve in a big way here in the Gallatin and Sumner County area. I've got my good friend Lucy with Lucy's Love Blankets on the other side of the screen with me. And I'm going to hand it over to her in just a second. But if you're just tuning in, be sure to say hello in the comments. Megan is monitoring those, and we'll answer some questions as they come in. If you're watching on the Chambers page or Lucy's page, definitely say hello. Tell us what you're looking forward to about this giving season, and go ahead and give this post a share so others can learn about these nonprofits and what we're doing this season. So at this time, I'm going to hand it over to Lucy. Lucy, tell them who you are and what you're doing.
Hi, I'm Lucy. I'm with Lucy's Love Blankets. I make blankets for kids who just need a little bit of extra love in their lives and are struggling. I started 4 years ago, and I'm just doing it.
Awesome. So Lucy and I have partnered, Lucy and the Chamber have partnered this November. Every day during this month, she is running a Love Like Lucy campaign, and we are running a campaign called 30 Days of Giving. So leading up to Giving Tuesday is what Lucy's campaign is doing, as is ours. So each Tuesday between now and Giving Tuesday for the whole month, we are visiting local nonprofits in the area to help you better understand the needs and opportunities that exist with them here in our community, and figure out ways that you can give back this season, whether it be with time, treasure, or talents. So I'm actually on site today at Ashley's Place, and a lot of you might not know what Ashley's Place does in our community, but they're one of our nonprofit organizations that make a big impact in the lives of children and families all over the county. So I'm actually here with Amy Burke Sawyers. Practice and everything.
She did practice. It was close.
Is the director here, and I'm going to hand it over to her so she can tell you exactly what Ashley's Place is.
Sure.
What is this place?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for having us. We always love an opportunity to be able to share the great work that we do with kids and families throughout Sumner County. We are often one of those agencies that folks don't know exists unless, unfortunately, they need our services. So we are unique in that we are a nonprofit, but we are by state law part of the investigative team for all severe child abuse investigations. So we provide some very specific services that are unique to our center. We've got a full-time child forensic interviewer who conducts very child-friendly, non-leading interviews when we have allegations of child sex abuse, and obviously a very child-friendly environment.
It's very child-friendly. I came in and I didn't even want to do this. I wanted to play.
I wanted to play. There's a lot going on. And that really, the goal of that is to not have children repeatedly interviewed by the various different disciplines that are responsible for different pieces of the investigation. Law enforcement, DCS, medical, kind of be a one-stop shop for children. We also provide victim advocacy and court accompaniment, therapy services for kids and families who meet those criteria, as well as some behind-the-scenes stuff as far as training and case review. And one of probably our most beloved employees, she's sleeping, but this is Ophira. Ophi, stand. So this is Ophi, if you can see her. But she is our PAC program, which is Pups Adding Comfort for Kids. And so she is a fully trained service dog through Canine Companions with Independence, and she provides a sense of calm and security for kids as she goes in the interviews with kids, and then she also goes on the witness stand with kids when they have to testify in court. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
And that really kind of just helps kids maneuver some very difficult pieces of that process for them. Unfortunately, the judicial system is not a very victim-friendly necessarily system, and definitely not very child victim-friendly. So we really strive hard to help kids get through, that process that they unfortunately have kind of been thrown into this very adult world.
Right. So you take referrals, and folks find you directly through the court system?
Typically, most of to do a forensic interview, those are coming from DCS and law enforcement. Now, therapy services, not necessarily. There are some different, if we have a child that really either the abuse occurred in Sumner County or they now live in Sumner County, they could be eligible for therapy services with us. So it really just kind of depends. We do a lot of community education out in the community, so it really kind of depends on which direct service that child or family is needing as to how that gets to us.
Got it. So tell me about, you said you are a nonprofit.
Mhm.
So how do you raise funds?
Most of our, we are a small staff, so a lot of our funding comes from various different grants and foundations. Of course, with COVID, we haven't done a lot of fundraising over the last couple of years as far as that, raising money from that standpoint, and really just a lot of individual donors is where the majority of our funding comes from.
And what about volunteer? We know a lot of times folks in the community, maybe they don't have funding or they don't have different ways they can give back, but they have time. Do you all have volunteer needs?
We do have volunteer needs. Sometimes they're kind of seasonal as far as assisting with like yard cleanup and just kind of some maintenance type stuff. We are getting ready to do a internal facelift within the center. So we will be looking for some volunteers to maybe help get some painting and kind of just some revamping and updating inside. So there's some of that kind of boots on the ground type of volunteer stuff. Our board positions are volunteer positions. We do have currently an open board slot right now if anybody was interested in that. We've got a couple of different groups that will assist with like item drives. We go through a lot of individually wrapped snacks, small Gatorades, juices, bottled water when kids are coming in for therapy in the evenings, because we're doing therapy 3 nights a week, or they're coming in for those forensic interviews, and they're often coming from school or, either in the middle of the day or after school before dinner. Exactly.
So Megan is actually going to drop your contact info in the comments below, so people can get a hold of you. They can visit your website. They can find your phone number and ask you all any questions they might have, and also find out on their website. Their website is super user friendly. I actually visited earlier today, and it's easy to navigate and better understand their services and what exactly they do here. And their site, tell them where we are right now. Is that, yeah, where we're located.
The address?
Yeah.
That seems like a very simple question.
I know. Tricky question.
315 West Smith Street. So of course we are located in Gallatin, but we do serve all of Sumner County, right behind Wendy's off Main Street. So we're fairly easy to find. It is kind of a dead end road. So.
And I think the gazebo out front, that's new since it was that.
Yes, that was an Eagle Scout project
Fun.
that a young man had built for us that gets a lot of use.
You can't see it right now, but there's a great meeting space outside, which I imagine is perfect for nice weather or for families that are maybe waiting for their children that are in here. Awesome. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share about the work of Ashley's Place that you thought that you think people might want to know more about?
I don't think so. It is. I think you had a good point as far as going to the website and kind of understanding a little bit more of how all of those
Work together.
pieces work together. We do have a wonderful what we call a SIPIT team, which is our Child Protective Investigative Team, with our law enforcement agencies throughout the county, our DCS, the District Attorney's Office. All of them are phenomenal and really helping make sure kids are getting the services that they need, throughout that process.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the work you do here and the lives you literally change through this building and all of the services you offer across the county. So we appreciate you. Lucy is actually on site at another organization who I imagine is probably a good partner of y'all. And so I'm going to kick it off to Lucy and let her tell you where she is today.
I'm here today with Sonia, Amy, and Laura at Sumner County CASA. And why don't you guys tell us a little bit about what you do?
Thank you, Lucy. We're so excited that you came to see us today. When we talk about CASA, a lot of people don't know what that stands for. They're like, is that a Mexican restaurant? But no, CASA is Court Appointed Special Advocates. What we do is we advocate for the best interests of children who are a part of a case that's before juvenile court. If you have any familiarity at all with court, it's adults. It's an adult system. It's set up for adults to talk, whether it's the judge, the attorneys, the providers, and very rarely do you get to see the child. And so what we do as CASA is we train community volunteers to become experts in the child that we advocate for. And so while you might not be able to go to court, we can always go to court for you and be your voice. So Amy is our volunteer coordinator, and she is the person that helps us to find our volunteers. She's the person that does all the training, and then she's the person who creates the person or who trains the person that becomes our advocate for best interest. And so Amy, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. An opportunity for the community to get involved with CASA would be volunteering. We are always needing new volunteers. We need to advocate for more children in the juvenile court system. We would like to say yes to every single child that is in foster care in Sumner County and give them a CASA. I can train virtually. If you have the time, I can make it happen. Training is offered 4 or 5 times a year. So you can just go to our website and request an application. I would love to meet you and get you started on becoming a CASA volunteer.
That's awesome. Are there any upcoming events or activities?
Well, I can talk about that. We do have a few things coming up. Of course, there's Giving Tuesday at the end of this month that we will be participating in. Moving into December, we have a photo session with Santa that will benefit us. That's on December 7th. And I think you can register on our Facebook page, correct. And then we will also this month begin selling our tickets for our raffle. We have a fundraiser reverse raffle in March where you can win $10,000, and we begin selling those tickets this month also to benefit CASA and what we do. Another thing that's coming up in 2022 is that it's our 30th anniversary of CASA. And so every month we're going to have community events and opportunities for people to support CASA and help us to continue to do what we do.
Wow, that's awesome.
So the great thing about a CASA or becoming a CASA is that it gives you the opportunity to give back to your community in a way that's a bit different from traditional volunteer service. Our volunteers are so in tune to what our children need. They visit our kids wherever they are. We have volunteers that have driven to Clarksville once a month to see our kids. We have volunteers who have driven almost to Memphis to visit kids that are CASA kids. So it's important to understand that while the children that we serve are from Sumner County, they don't always live in Sumner County while we're serving them. And so once a volunteer is appointed, they are that child's volunteer for the entire time that their case is in front of juvenile court. And whether that's 6 months or at this point we have a case that's at 4 years, that CASA is always going to be a constant. So it's really important for us and for us to have people know that when you become a CASA, it's so much more than that tiny thing that you do for that part of time that you're with a child. It is, you may never see what you did as a CASA, and you may never see the positive effects of what you did as a CASA. But what you are is a constant in a child's life when maybe they didn't have anyone else to be a constant. So what we do is hard work. I couldn't do it without Amy and Laura. What we do really well together. We shoulder the load. But our volunteers, and we have about 40 active volunteers right now who are serving kids, and we couldn't do what we do without them.
That's awesome.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you, Sonia and Amy and Lucy, for sharing a little more about CASA. And we're so excited to have these partners. We're really excited because we're neighbors to both of these. They're very nearby us, but we appreciate the impact they not only have in Gallatin, but across the county. So as I shared earlier, every Tuesday this month leading up to Giving Tuesday, Lucy and I are going to meet local nonprofits in the area. And even though we've had furry friends this week and last week, I think next week you're going to definitely want to tune in because we're going to go see a few of our nonprofits that specifically serve furry and four-legged friends in the county. So until we see you again, we encourage you to share this post, keep an eye out on Lucy's page, and keep an eye out on ours, and be sure to love like Lucy all month long.
And do good, Gallatin.
See you next week.